Hello, I am Josie with Windermere Real Estate. Today I'm in Capitol Hill visiting Neko Cat Café.
Hi, welcome.
Hello, Rae.
Hi.
The social media marketing Meownager.
Yes.
Social media marketing Meownager.
Marcating Meownager, if we're being more specific.
Of Neko Café here in Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, so just have a few questions for you to get to know more about Neko Café. I've never actually been here before. This is my
Okay.
first time, and I'm very excited to meet all of the cats. So can you tell me a little bit about the mission of Neko Cat Café?
Yeah, so our owners were living abroad in first Vietnam and then Japan for several years without their kitty. And when they started discovering cat cafes out there, they lost it. It was clearly the thing that they needed to do with their lives. And so when they came back, they were on a mission to start, at the time there were no cat cafes in the US, on a mission to start Neko. We're named after the Japanese word for cat as an homage to the cafes that inspired this all. And really the goal was to create a space where we could host people who are bringing their niece after brunch, somewhere where you could hang out on a Sunday morning, have a lovely little time, and then also somewhere where you could have drinks with your friends at night and it'd be like the perfect stop before a night out. Or the perfect place to go when, frankly, you just need some snuggle time and some cats, which at all times in life are necessary.
Man, I wish this existed like 15 years ago when I was stomping around Capitol Hill in the evenings.
I so feel it. Well, and too, whenever we have kids come in the morning, we've got a couple like regular kids who come in with their grandparents and everything. I always think if I came in here when I was 6 years old, I don't think I would be here today. I think I would explode on the spot. I think it'd be too much. But then also along with that, we adopt out cats here. All of our cats are from King County. All of our cats are from the Regional Animal Services of King County. And then we basically for a while served as a foster home here. Now we just adopt them out straight from here. And so yeah, it's a great way to socialize the kitties who come in, get cats who a lot of the time start out really nervous, who start out coming from really tough situations, have the most positive reinforcement in the world with all of these wonderful people who come in and are obsessed with them and just want to pet them and love on them all the time. They find out that people are full of love and treats. And then typically they leave here as really socialized, happy kitties.
That's awesome.
So it's a wonderful situation for the cats, and I think that people get just as much out of it.
That's so great. I like that. So what can visitors expect when they come to Neko Café?
Well, when they come in, we have a bar full of drinks and snacks and all kinds of fun stuff, everything from coffee to beer and wine. So you check in with your paw tender. We usually highly recommend making a reservation as the kitties can get pretty booked up. And then you go into a room full of cats. In our Seattle location, we have typically up to 12 kitties at a time, like 10 to 12. And our Bellingham location, we tend to have 20 to 25. And in that space, the bar and everything is in with the cats, so it's super fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really good time. And then yeah, we do 45-minute sessions on the hour. In Bellingham too, we do like work study per sessions where you can be like 3 hours in with the cats studying, all that jazz.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's great. And then we also do like private birthday parties, all that jazz. We've had catchalorette parties recently. That's been a fun one.
Love it.
So yeah, it's a good time. It's sort of just a lovely space to be able to host people, and also there are 12 cats hanging out, ready to hang out with you.
I mean, 12 cats just waiting to hang out with you sounds
The dream. And they're good
just
kids
waiting.
too. It's truly, I mean, this time of the day is typically when they're the loveliest because they haven't been with people for a couple hours and they're like, all they want is all of the socialization in the world.
Right. So how do you choose which cats are in the cafe?
So typically, that can go a number of ways. Sometimes they're recommended by by the shelter. And usually they are sometimes cats who are really social already, who clearly just sort of need an outlet to put all of their energy, who really like people, all that. But a lot of the time, especially in Seattle where we have kind of tighter quarters in order to work with them more hands-on, a lot of times they're cats who actually need a lot of confidence, that, you know, we've done this long enough where we can kind of tell who might have a shell to break out of a little bit. And sometimes that's a little bit broken out of their shell. Sometimes they're still, you know, a spicy kitty, but who can handle noises, who can handle new people, who can do all of the things that otherwise could be really stressful for them long term. And so sometimes, you know, we have a bit of a project kitty who we know is going to spend a couple weeks hanging out in the back with us, kind of getting their confidence up, learning how to trust people. And then we also have some resident cats who hang out with us long term. They're sort of the mentors of the newer cats who come in. And so they set the vibe. A lot of them now actually have been with us since they were kittens, which has worked out beautifully because the only life they know is this one, and they're so wonderful at like teaching them how to play with the other kitties.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, teaching them how to interact with people, showing them that they trust us. And so yeah, a lot of the times they are our biggest help in the world, is to have cats who are really confident and lovely. So yeah, sometimes confident kitties, sometimes cats who just need a little bit of help, a little boost.
Right. Well, okay, so now I'm curious because I have 2 cats and they barely like each other. So
Yes.
how do you get your 12 cats to just
to hang out?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, it's a hard question to answer because I'm in the process right now of introducing some cats, and it's so different than it is here, because these guys sort of have the colony mindset of socialization. So a lot of the times, you know, you see feral cats in the street, they all hang out together. I'm sure there's some spats, of course, any family.
Right, exactly.
But typically cats are more social than we usually think of them as. But in a home environment, it can be very different because, you know, it's sort of their space. And so yeah, always recommend slow introductions and everything. And here though, we typically, I mean, we have a little bit of an isolation space where they can smell each other through the door, see each other. Mostly that for us is about getting the new cat to settle in and kind of recognize what's happening and not sort of throw them into all of this craziness with people and cats and everything. But they warm up faster than you would think, and I think a lot of that is just because the social dynamics between the cats tends to go pretty well.
Nice.
Every so often we'll get a spicy boy, but for the most part...
Spicy boy? That doesn't sound...
The boys tend to be a little spicy. Well, the boys tend to be a little bit more, I won't say territorial, but sometimes that can happen.
Okay.
But really, that's the only times where we're ever like, we really have to adopt out this cat. For the most part, everyone settles in and gets to know each other and likes each other. I'm staring at Haley here because she's seen so many cats come through too.
I love it. That's so awesome. Can you share some of the adoption success stories that happen at Neko Café?
One of our favorite, most chaotic times, I think, as an organization here, is our shelter partner at some point had an influx of kittens and a lack of foster homes for them.
Right.
And so we did what felt like absolute madness at the time, and we took all of our cats from here up to our Bellingham location because we had a bit of a sort of shelter population changeover up there. Happened to work out where we brought all of our kitties up to Bellingham. Several of them got adopted out. We brought in more cats because Bellingham has so many more cats most of the time. And then here we brought in, at some point, up to 28 tiny baby kittens.
Oh my gosh, 28 kittens, that'd be like a tornado of...
Truly, absolute madness, which was amazing. I think it was a dream all the time. I literally can't, when I see videos of it, I cannot believe it happened. It does not feel real, even in the slightest. But yeah, I mean, during that time, we adopted out a ton of cats really quickly. And we're particularly really lucky to have sort of the social media following that we do, as well as like, you know, lovely folks that come in and send us emails and try to check in and make sure everything's good. And so typically, like recently we had a cat named Baby Cat, who was really, really sweet with everyone. He just had some time socializing with people and animals. Was just a little overstimulated by everything, and we always want them to be comfortable in that situation. But Baby Cat, for some reason, the most perfect cat in the whole world, was kind of hard to find an adopter for. So one of those situations where, you know, we're posting all of the time, eventually he goes to a foster home, and from that he finds the absolute perfect people because we have the time and the space and the resource to really be working at making sure they find the exact right home for them, which is a wonderful wonderful situation. It's really, really nice to be able to get to know people. People come in all the time and really get to know the cat that they're interested in, as well as
that is great.
Yeah, it's so great. And it's nice because we know their personalities so well by the time we're ready to adopt them out. They usually hang out with us for a little bit so that we can get them more confident. So by the time they're ready to go, we know them really well. We can tell sort of how they're going to be in a home, because also, we've been doing it for a while. We sort of get the picture of what might change when they get home. Sometimes cats who are sometimes a little more standoffish here happen to become the most social house cat ever because they were really social here. Yeah. It's just some cats here are total hams. So yeah, it's nice.
Just random question. If someone has a dog and they're like, I just want to see if my dog is good with cats or vice versa, do you guys let people bring their...
We don't typically let dogs in. However, we are lucky to be at ground level, and so we have lots of dogs who come by and visit us every single day. Because they're cats, we have the screens open most of the time so they can look out and see the world and feel some fresh air. And dogs come up all the time. So typically we know who doesn't like dogs real quick.
Yeah.
It's pretty immediately obvious like who's got a vendetta about dogs, which is always mostly fun. And I think that they eventually, once they get used to this face, I think they see it as like their little opponent outside. But we have dogs who, for the almost 7 years that we've been open have come by pretty much every day on their walks and see the cats. And so we have an idea of how they interact with dogs outside the windows. Sometimes they don't care. That's usually a pretty good sign. Sometimes they're obsessed with them. Like we have a couple dogs who know cats in the room who will run up to see them every single day.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
It's really good. There's a bird that comes by all the time that the cats know pretty well.
Bird?
Is it a cockatoo? It's huge.
White.
It's a massive bird.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
A bunny that
Surely.
comes by on a leash.
That's
bunny
true.
on a leash.
And sometimes cats come by. Those are typically the least pleasant interactions, I will say. But yeah, the birds, the dogs, everybody comes out to see the cats. And I think it's good enrichment time,
It's popular amongst all the species.
Truly, yes. So we get a good idea of how they interact with others. And also you can find out like what cats are really risk averse, what cats are absolutely not going to interact with what they don't quite understand yet. And so that gives us a good idea of probably how things are going to go in a home. And we don't have many misses, I'll say.
That's great. What roles do the community play in supporting Neko Cat?
Huge, which is incredibly lovely. We are so deeply lucky to have the local community that we do, both here and in Bellingham, constantly pinching ourselves that we have made friends here who, if something's broken in this space, we'll come in and fix it. We know so many lovely people who just have been so wonderful and rallied around the cafe and been great. I mean, even during like COVID, the amount of people who, when we had 4 cats come back into the room because we had adopted everyone out, a couple of our residents were in foster care, during a time where we were closed for like 8 months, not only were people financially incredibly supportive, which we so dearly appreciated, but being in the cat room and working with those cats, the amount of people who came by and said, I pass these cats every single day on my way to work. I cannot tell you what a relief it is to see them back here. So really our community is, I kind of think, the best part of it. Sometimes people will say, what's your favorite part of working at a cat cafe? And I feel really silly saying the people, but it's so true. I mean, we're really great. So lucky.
I mean, cat people are like probably...
They're exactly, yes.
They're the best.
Yes,
people.
100%. I am biased, but I entirely agree. Yeah, we're lucky. People are so unbelievably lovely here.
So what message would you like to share with those considering visiting or supporting Neko Cafe?
Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in. It's a good time. We've got cats for you. It's one of those situations where, I can say as many times that it's super fun and lovely, but once you're surrounded by 12 to 25 cats, life's pretty good. It's a good time.
And again, it's popular amongst all species.
All the species. Neko Cat Café. We're in Capitol Hill and downtown Bellingham. We're on Pike and Pine out here in Cap Hill. And then, on Cornwall in Bellingham. And then highly recommend making a reservation. That's probably the main thing. Typically we get pretty booked up, especially, on weekends and sort of busier hours for most places. So definitely recommend making a reservation. It costs the exact same amount You would just do it on our website, and it shows you everything that's available in real time. So that will also kind of give an idea of hours and everything. And then also, you know, there's fun special events, especially in Bellingham. We have like cat yoga up there. That's this Thursday, which is a party and a half. It's an amazing yoga class, and also 25 cats happen to be there. So those are the sort of things that I recommend checking the website for, because you'll get dates and times and all that jazz. But it's a really good time.
That sounds cat yoga.
It's magical.
Awesome.
I went, honestly, for the first time relatively recently, because I'm not up in Bellingham as often, lost my mind. It was incredible. The whole time I was like, I can't believe this is happening right now.
That's so lovely. I love
yeah,
it.
it's great.
Thank you so much for watching me hang out with the cats at Neko Cat Café. If you have more questions on them, click the link in the description. But if you have questions on the Capitol Hill neighborhood in general, reach out to me, Josie LaRosa with Windermere Real Estate, and I'd be more than happy to help you. Bye.